Welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Nick Cortez. At this Thursday's Town Council meeting, the Council will be asked to accept over $15 million in grants to fund various projects around town. For more on where the money is coming from and where it's going, we sat down with Assistant Town Manager Tom Lynch for a preview of the meeting. The Town Council meets this Thursday at 7 o'clock in the Town Hall hearing room, and as always, to let you know what you can expect at this Thursday night's meeting, we welcome in Assistant Town Manager Tom Lynch. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Nick.
Now, Tom, kind of a short agenda, but lots of good news for the town of Barnstable contained within. Let's start off with old business. This is something that came up for a first reading at the last council meeting. There will be a public hearing on it this time around, and perhaps a vote from the council. It's an appropriation for about $1.3 million to add to the series of projects that's being done at the airport.
Well, the council's been very involved with the airport construction project and approved various appropriations along the way. This is an important one. I think it's will generate some discussion because it's going to create a taxiway and apron behind the new terminal.
Right.
So once the old terminal comes down, there'll be so that you could still use the old taxiway area or apron area, but they'd like to polish it all off and finish it up all at once. So this is actually becoming a timing issue that probably would have been again in the capital appropriations side when we did that, but the Bud Brialt from the airport wants, the executive director over there, wants to get this on early because it's a timing issue of when they can get approvals in, when they can get the construction design done, construction started, and also when they get the reimbursement from the FAA. So it's important. It was important to him that we get this on early. Seems important to that overall project, and I'm sure councils will give it a good deal of thought.
Now, this is this appropriation would be backed by federal funding, presumably?
Yes, they go after, you have to come up with the money up front.
Yeah, sure.
So that's why they go back into reserves, but then I believe they get up to like 97% of the funding back, so
okay.
It's a substantial reimbursement from the federal government.
Speaking of substantial reimbursements from other entities for the airport, let's talk about some of the other airport items while we're on that
Sure.
subject. Under new business, there's an item authorizing the town council president, which is, of course, Fred Chirigotis, to sign grant assurances of just over $13 million for the entirety of the airport construction project. And this is that long-awaited money from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, right?
Yes, and it's also the final grant assurances that we put in place. It was a subject of a good deal of debate early on to be sure that, if something went wrong, the state and federal folks are looking for a backup on all of this, and we worked out how the municipal side would handle that without it being a burden to the general taxpayer. And so this is the final result, and we'll put it on the agenda, and hopefully that'll pass on Thursday.
Very good. Now let's talk about some other new business items, Tom. We'll start with an acceptance of a $6,000 traffic enforcement grant from the Executive Office of Public Safety. This is for the police department for some of those common campaigns that we see commercials and billboards about.
Yeah, this is again a community effort to try to get at drunk driving, stop accidents before they happen. It's the click it a ticket, and it's the don't drive drunk, and those public safety programs. Very important as we see everyday accidents that some legitimately are accidents, others could be avoided.
Sure.
And these are trying to avoid those accidents, save lives, and help with overall community public safety.
Now, this next item is kind of an intriguing one to me. It's an acceptance of a $25,000 Cape Cod Economic Development Council license plate fund grant. This comes from all of those Cape and Islands license plates that you all have on your cars out there. The funds do get dispersed around Cape Cod, and the town of Barnstable will be the beneficiary of $25,000 of that. And I'd like you to explain the reason why we're getting this money, because
Sure.
it opens up, I think, into a potentially larger and exciting conversation.
Well, first we want to thank the county and the Economic Development Commission for, looking at our application and acting on it successfully, because these are very important seed monies, the $25,000 to help with our whole arts and culture program we have out there. But very specifically, it's going to look at the existing armory and tell us what we would need to do if we were to try to use that existing structure for a cultural center and as part of the whole arts district that we're trying to do. So we're going to be looking very specifically at heating, air conditioning, restroom facilities, handicap facilities, all those infrastructure things that you tend not to see, but which right now render the building rather useless to us as it is. So if we can get a good blueprint from that, then we can go after additional funding to try to convert that building into something, a very usable cultural space.
Yeah, I sort of wonder, just a quick update as to where we are in that process, because of course, as we all know, it's an historic site to be sure. President Kennedy gave his first speech after he was elected president in that building, which is literally right across the street from where we sit right now. And I think there's a lot of people in town that would like to see something done with it. So what are the discussions like right now?
Well, no matter what happens, the site will always be recognized for what it is. And however the building structure, whatever structure stays, or perhaps the whole building may stay as is, if there's some modifications to it, there will always be, a way to memorialize what happened there through pictures, plaques, whatever. Right now, there's nothing to know that happened. As a matter of fact, the National Guard, when it decommissioned the Armory, actually took down Massachusetts National Guard. So many people coming into town, visitors who might want to see the site, don't even realize it's there now. So, but it's been the subject of of everything from a performing arts center to a cultural center, much smaller cultural center. So we're trying to get a handle on which direction to go. But as you point out, it is an historic building. It's an historic site for what took place there, and we want to always memorialize that.
Absolutely. So that's kind of an exciting thing there to see what exactly can be done with that space. Now, the last item on the agenda, this is something that we actually covered. Secretary Bielecki was down here to present this particular grant to the town of Barnstable. This is the last chunk of money to finish off that wonderful Bursa's Way reconstruction project that we see substantially complete now.
Yes, it's High School Road leading down into the downtown area. It's Stephen Street, same connector. It's those connectors basically from the Hyannis Youth and Community Center and the roundabout there right down into town to, again, make that entryway into our downtown community inviting and to lead folks who maybe, I've been to a couple events recently over at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. I know between games when, these teams come from other places, they want to come down, either shop, dine, whatever. We want to make sure it's inviting and they know where to go. And the whole streetscape, I think we can agree, there have been a lot of wonderful improvements on Bursa's Way, and we want to see that continue down. So $2 million grant, something that DPW is working very hard on to get the bidding out on and start construction hopefully in the spring.
All right, well, that's what's coming up this Thursday night at 7 o'clock as the Town Council meets for a regular session. Tom, thanks so much for joining us and giving us the preview.
Thank you very much, Nick.
Now, let's take a look at this week's remaining meetings. Wednesday, March 2nd, the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission meets in the Selectmen's Conference Room at 7 p.m. On Thursday, March 3rd, the Town Council meets in the Town Hall Hearing Room at 7 p.m. Remember to check out our online video archives for free downloadable episodes of Barnstable Today and all of our other Channel 18 programs. Well, that's all for now. I'm Nick Cortez, and we'll see you next time on Barnstable Today.